I'm sure most of us have all had a time where we feel alone. So today we're going to talk about loneliness. So let's get started. You are watching the Beyond Sunday podcast. Okay, so this is a very big topic that basically everybody deals with.
Absolutely.
And so
I felt it.
I felt it. So I'm just going to ask a big question. Why are we lonely as a society?
COVID?
I mean, yeah, that doesn't help anything.
2020 was kind of a terribly rough year, I think, to cause us to kind of get into deep, dark, lonely places because we couldn't be together.
Right, and we're made for connection.
Absolutely.
Like, as humans, we are created for connection.
Absolutely. I think one of the, I mean, there's more than one reason, but one of the ones I'm thinking about is we feel lonely because there's not opportunities for meaningful connection.
Yeah.
You just because you're together with people doesn't mean it's meaningful. I think that's one major reason why we feel lonely. I think another reason is because we as a society have lost the ability to communicate.
Sadly, I think that's true.
I mean, we know how to speak words, but I don't know that we know how to do conversations well or to ask good questions when we are talking to people. It's very surfacey and shallow.
Well, I mean, think about how many times a day you walk past someone or someone walks past you and goes, "Hey," and you go, "Hey," and they go, "How are you doing? Good? You? Good?"
And
Done.
it's over.
Like,
so you talk, but nothing
there is
happened.
nothing meaningful in that conversation. And most likely you're not even telling the truth that you're good. You're just saying that.
Yeah.
So
that's one that causes loneliness in itself.
So yeah.
It's a nicety. I mean, it's nice. You said hi, but
like,
you didn't.
There's no connection, like you said.
I think a third thing that maybe causes us to be lonely is these crazy things. Technology is this double-edged sword, so it's good, and also can be very isolating, cause us to be completely isolated.
Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I have an opportunity to go out with friends or something, and instead I'm feeling kind of tired, so I decide to stay home and watch Netflix.
While you're on your iPad.
While I'm on my iPad. And probably my phone. Like,
yeah.
I have like 4 screens in front of me. What the heck is happening?
But FYI, you're not the only one that does that.
I know.
I'm guilty of it too. I think most everybody could say, yeah, I do that.
Yeah.
And then we find ourselves lonely.
What?
Silly us.
Yeah, I know. It's true.
Man.
And
so,
yeah, I'm just thinking like on the top, like we were made for connection in Genesis 2. So like very beginning of the Bible, there's Adam, and God says, "It is not good for man to be alone. I will make a suitable helper."
There it is. Right there.
We need community.
He made it for Adam. He wants it for us.
Like, you always have God. Like, you're never truly alone, but a physical person.
Yeah, that you can be with, touch, talk to.
Yes.
I think that's important. Okay, so think about this. Babies that there's like a study that has found that babies who are isolated in like their cribs, newborns, in a hospital type situation, who are not held or put close to a human being don't thrive. They will cease to thrive.
Yeah, that's an issue.
I mean, that's a newborn.
Yeah.
It's innate in all of us that we need to be together with someone else.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we lose the will to live.
So yeah, it's not a bad thing to crave connection and community.
Absolutely not. And then it's a real thing when we feel alone. I don't think that we have to feel like something is wrong with us because we feel lonely. Because I think it's not natural.
Yeah.
for us for that. So we kind of said a couple things, like what,
Mm-hmm.
talked a little bit about what, maybe why we're lonely as a society, but what are some other reasons? What causes loneliness?
I think one thing is kind of like what we said, but like being with or being around people does not mean you're with them.
Okay.
So you may be sitting in a room with 5 other people, but you're all on your phones. Like, there's no intimacy. There's no connection.
It's not a guarantee.
You're with people, so you shouldn't be lonely, but you are.
Sometimes
you are.
Sometimes you
So I
feel
think that's a big thing.
Mm-hmm. I think another part of that is like you give what you get, right?
Yeah.
So if you're always expecting people to talk to you first and not willing to step out there
or
and
invite you to things or plan things or
waiting for the phone to ring or that's phone to ring, like 1985. The text, the group me, whatever.
That's okay.
You know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
You can't always expect other people to make the first move.
Right. Which I've done that before. I've been like, why is no one inviting me to anything? Well, I'm not planning anything either, so
okay. So partly our fault.
Partly our fault, sadly. But yeah. And I think another thing that gets in the way of connecting is just having our guard up. Like, it's whether maybe you've been hurt or you've had a friendship that's ended up stabbing you in the back, or like there's so many reasons to have your guard up. But when you have your guard up, you're not going to find, like, you need to be seen and heard and valued, and that's not going to happen if it just stays surfacey.
Yeah, if you keep people at arm's length, no matter how hard they're trying, you're going to feel lonely.
Like, quit snorkeling and go scuba diving.
Yeah.
Do you like that? Do you like
I
that?
think that's pretty good.
I just came up with that on the spot.
Nice. Very nice. So, you said it already, that people instead of, wanting isolation or wanting loneliness, they desire to be seen, heard, and valued. So how do those play out? What does that look like when I feel valued? When I feel heard?
I think all of those things sort of go together. So, like, if I'm having a conversation with you, you're going to feel a whole lot more seen, heard, and valued if I'm not sitting here like this going,
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's not going to work. Or just, I think that's, again, where, like, the intimacy comes up.
Yeah, making eye contact.
Do
we know how to do that
like,
anymore?
literally see them.
Yeah.
Literally to be seen.
It can get awkward a little bit when you're talking to people and looking them in the eye, but I think that is a necessary part of making a connection with someone.
Well, and asking questions. Like, I mean, everybody's been in conversations where it's like, okay, cool. You've been talking for 10 minutes about yourself. Like, really care over here, don't we?
Yeah.
And so, like, turning the conversation around on the other person and asking questions. This is horrible, but everybody wants to talk about themselves. So, like,
give them
a chance to talk about themselves? Like,
care.
That's going to make someone feel seen.
Absolutely.
Is if you give them a chance to talk about themselves.
And pay attention to them.
Yeah.
When they are talking.
Yeah. I think that's important.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there any time when loneliness or the feeling of loneliness could be a good thing? Like, where it could be turned for good?
I think so. I mean, most of the time it's a feeling of yucky, I would say.
Yes.
But at the same time, I think when I'm thinking Bible examples of times, because I know that
there's lots of people in the Bible.
There's a lot of examples in the Bible of where people we've seen stories of their loneliness. Like For instance,
Mm-hmm.
Ezekiel, or not Ezekiel,
Elijah.
the E word, Elijah. So he was sent off
Mm-hmm.
to a place by himself, and he was being fed by ravens, birds, and eating bread. I mean,
sad
that's
when your only friends are birds.
yeah,
It's like Cinderella.
Cinderella in the Bible.
Anyways, back on topic.
Yes,
Jesus
Jesus
is another example in the wilderness.
Jesus in the wilderness. How long was he by himself for? 40 days.
That would not be fun.
But I think it was a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that was a preparation for the start of his ministry. And had he not had that time of testing and isolation and solitude,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's the Son of God, so he would have still
Right.
been fine. But I think it was a teaching time.
So maybe that's a way that we could use the season of loneliness, is to have
Preparation.
as preparation. Like, ask the Lord if there's something he's getting you ready for,
Mm-hmm.
or is there something I need to learn? Or, I mean, you have this, like, loneliness is not fun, but you have like an uninterrupted time with God. Like, there's not there's not the people distractions. Like, you have God to turn to.
Yes. I think also, this is, as you were talking, I was thinking about this, that maybe the loneliness, we experience it, we walk through that season, so that when we're in relationship with other people who are in those moments, we can empathize with them.
Totally.
In a way that we couldn't before.
Mm-hmm.
So if I've never walked through loneliness, how can I help you when you're walking through it? Because I wouldn't be able to.
Right. Or like, if I've never been lonely before and I've never been on the outskirts of the group or whatever, when you see somebody else sitting over there by themselves, you're not going to be like, ooh, I need to go say hi or bring them in or welcome them in.
Make sure they're included.
Right. Because I don't know.
Yeah.
You never felt that before.
You don't know it. But when you do know it, then you're more aware of when it's happening.
That's a good thought.
Maybe that's another reason.
Yeah.
Maybe that's another way it's good.
Mm-hmm. Are there any other people in the Bible that you can think of that?
So we said David.
David's a good one.
I think there was a lot of times he was running for his life. He
Yeah.
had to be away from his family and the people that cared about him, and he
Mhm.
was alone,
So yeah, loneliness
also
is not a new thing.
running from his life.
Yeah.
On top of it. So difficult things, but it's not uncommon. I don't think it's a unique I mean, I said we started this off with COVID, but it's not new because of COVID. I think it's
Right.
been with us from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Didn't Adam and Eve?
Yes.
They were separated from God. They were perfectly together with God.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is maybe in a different kind of way, but they had to go away from that perfect relationship because of sin, and then now they experience a different kind of relationship
Yeah.
than they had with God.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's lonely. Not that God left them,
Right.
but it's not perfect anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Just thinking about that.
Yeah. For sure.
So we talked about loneliness. I don't
Mhm.
want to leave this podcast episode on
No.
a sad and downer note.
No.
So tell us some good things or next steps or ways that we can help combat loneliness in our lives or the people around us.
Yeah. I think a big one is, most likely, whether you know it or not, you know people who are lonely.
Yep.
Like, they may not show it because we're good at hiding things, but they are probably still lonely. So make a list of people that you want to hang out with or get to know,
Mm-hmm.
and just send them a text. Like, it may be reciprocated. It may not be. But,
Be the first.
hey, do you want to get coffee? Hey, you want to go to a movie? Hey, I don't even know, go on a walk. Like,
Yeah.
make the first move.
Make the first move. That's a good
I
one.
think that's a good one.
If you're not sure, invite people to do stuff that you love to do,
That's a good one.
right? So I am new to getting back into running, and I've invited people to go, hey, come run with me, because I need help. And it's lonely to do it by myself.
Right.
But
Makes running a whole lot more fun
Yeah.
when you're with people.
But other things you love, like do it together, invite people with you,
Yeah.
and who knows what can come of it.
Mm-hmm. I think getting involved, if you're involved in a church or have a church home, getting involved,
Absolutely.
And
Serving.
taking the focus off yourself, and you're going to be with a team of automatic friends.
Have the same values as you.
They obviously have the same values. They're interested in serving in the same way as you. So, yeah, I mean, that'd be a great way.
Along the same lines of serving is if your church has small groups,
Mm-hmm.
get into those small groups. That is a place where community is made to flourish, and relationships are meant to thrive, and people can walk through life with you when it gets really yucky.
And doing these things is not necessarily going to be easy.
Like some days you're not going to want to.
Right. And like for me, thinking about going to a life group or a small group or whatever that I don't know anybody at
It's intimidating.
scares the poop out of me. Like I just said that on a podcast. Please don't fire me from podcasting. But like it's so scary for me. And so it's not like it's going to be easy and fun, but there's a very high likelihood that is going to be way rewarding.
Absolutely. And it might take a few times.
Like
Get
10
to know you.
seconds of brave. Like
Yeah.
you can do it.
Absolutely.
You can do it. And if those don't sound good, another thing I think you can do is go to therapy. Go see a therapist. They are literally paid to listen to you. And so if you just need to talk through something or vent about something or just feel like you're not alone, that I feel like is a great way to,
Absolutely.
I mean, just talk about yourself and get some feedback. Have a conversation.
Absolutely.
So I feel like that's an easy thing to do too.
Absolutely.
And just, I think, know that whether you have people around you or not, you are not alone. God promises to be there.
Absolutely. His word says that he's with us always, even to the end of the age. And that's the best news that we could share with you.
And there's another verse in Isaiah 41:10. That one that you just shared was Matthew 28:20. If you want to like
highlight that in your Bible.
Highlight that or write it down. But then there's Isaiah 41:10, and it says, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." Again, not alone.
Never, never alone.
And if you need more Bible on loneliness, Psalms. I mean, we said David.
Yeah.
He wrote Psalms. There are so many Psalms on loneliness.
There was a lot of times he was struggling with stuff, and he wrote about it, and that's okay. Take it to the Lord.
Yeah. Psalms 139, 7-8 says, "Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go up to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there." I like that one.
You were never alone.
You're never alone. But yeah. So take heart in that and
Go find those people in your life
Go
that you
find
need
those
to reach
people.
out to.
you can do it.
We have faith in you.
We believe in you. And so I hope that you learned something today. Let's continue chatting in the comments and hang out some more. So join us next Tuesday for another episode. We'll see you later.
Bye.
This has been another episode of the Beyond Sunday podcast. And don't forget, like, share, and subscribe.